Welcome everyone to another Jeff Herring Results Now webinar. This is Jeff, your host, broadcasting live from our virtual studios here, about 40 or so miles north of Atlanta, Georgia, in the foothills of the North Georgia Mountains. And our topic today is real, profitable list building. How to master 7 simple steps to a highly profitable list of gold that adds prospects to your list community daily. I don't like it when a day goes by and I don't add folks to my community. Don't like that at all. And I usually don't have many of those days because of what I'm going to teach you and what I'll be teaching in the upcoming course. And you can do this too. As simple as that. So, why should you listen to me? If you're out there joining us for the first time, let us know that in the Q&A and just say first time. That would be cool. Now, thank you. For those of you that are joining us first time, like Tanya, this is not going to be one of those 30-minute things, Linda, joining us for the first time, where somebody talks about how great they are. First time today, Kim said. It's one of my high-level students. Yeah, okay, I got you. Not going to be one of those 30-minute things where somebody tells you how great they are. You're only like me, everything would be fine, and you'd be rich. Not going to do that. Just about 5 minutes of why listen to me. Tanya's saying, thank God. Yeah, I know, Tanya. I've been on those too. All right. So I used to be, for 26 years, 25 years, marriage and family therapist in private practice. And this is what got me from that to doing this. Started writing a weekly column for the newspaper about relationships, which was hilarious, as some of you know, because my professors told me I couldn't write. I believed them, never finished my dissertation. And then one of those professors joined one of my content creation webinars, which was kind of fun. What this really did for me, for my practice, was it changed the first question that people would ask me, because they got to see how I approach and how I solve their problems. So instead of asking me, how much do you charge and will my insurance cover it, they asked me, how soon can we get in to see you, Jeff? They were pursuing me instead of me pursuing them. The same dynamic happens when you use this stuff online. Your clients pursue you instead of you having to pursue them. Now this is a screen capture into the biggest content directory online. The number of views of my content there. Pretty high number. I'm going to show you a higher one in a minute. Speaking here in Atlanta at the NAMS conference, Novice to Advanced Marketing System. And listen, this little side thing here. There'll be more about this coming in the coming weeks. The next one's in August. Okay? It's 3 days. All the instructors are there. They stay there, 30 of us, along with 200 or 300 or 400 students. The connections, the JVs, the family that is established there is unlike anything I know. And I would love to meet you face-to-face there. Like I said, there'll be more about that coming. Here's my big 4. Andy Kennedy, Alex Mendoza, Lisa Sasevich, Tom Antion. All people that I try to say easily, either, and usually all at the same time. All 4 of these I either do content marketing for behind the scenes, and or they use my stuff with themselves and their students. Now, a little bit before we went live, I went and got the most recent article views, which is a substantial amount bigger than this. Just in a few weeks, that's for 1,602 articles over there, which comes out to about 1,032 views. Now, most of the folks that teach this stuff, content creation, stop there. I don't. I take this whole content marketing thing, and by going an inch wide and a mile deep into this niche, have discovered that content marketing provides you with the 5 things you need to be successful online in any niche.
Muted.
Okay? They are content creation, online visibility, traffic generation, where we are focusing on today's webinar in the course that starts on Thursday, list building, growing a highly responsive list community by taking great care of your community, and product creation, cashing in on your content. Now, if you're a beginner you are in the right place. Let us know that in the Q&A if you're a beginner, because you're going to get to bypass all the usual mistakes and do this the right way. Whoops. If you've been doing this for a while and yet aren't making the income you know you could and should, I'm glad you're here. And if you're an expert looking for a powerful edge, my hat's off to you, because very few experts do that anymore. They rest on their laurels, wallow in the curse of knowledge, and stop growing. Never, ever going to let that happen. Bill never started. Michelle, I'm new at this. Carol, I'm a total beginner. Glad you're here. Okay, now, here's what you're about to discover. But before we do that, how many of you have tried to build a list and either failed or not done as well as you thought you might? Let me know in the Q&A. You've either tried and failed or tried and it's not been what you thought it would be. Says Carol. Okay. Hand raised. I like that. Very good. Yep. All right. So tried and not been what I thought. Yeah. Okay, Michelle. Glad you're here. Not as big as you like, Laura. What that reminds me of is, for as long as I can remember, I've loved both watching and playing football. Played it in Sandlot since I could walk. Organized in high school and college. Played Sandlot tackle football with my friends almost into our 30s until we all got hurt too much. Watched it with my dad, watched it with my sons. And so by the time I went out for football in 9th grade, which was the top of junior high when I was in school, I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought, hey, if I can do this, full pads and organized will be easy. Boy, was that a surprise. That was a lot harder and a lot different than I thought it would be. Plus, I went out for guard, and I'm not guard material. You know, back then I was 5'8" and 135, and I ain't a whole lot more now. And that was because I'd read a book by Jerry Kramer called Instant Replay, and he was a guard for the Green Bay Packers. And so one day, my dad dropped me off at practice, and that was the day I got cut, and the coaches asked me if I'd be interested in being a team manager. I said, well, what's that? So, well, you keep stats at games and help out the team. I said, okay. So imagine how embarrassing it was when my dad picked me up that afternoon, and I'm picking up dirty football jerseys from the field to take them to the laundry room. Yuck. But a cool thing happened from that. At the games, my job was to chart and keep track of every play that we ran, and the other team's defense responds to that in the result of the plays. And every time their offense ran a play, the opposite offense, I had to keep track too. So, being a persistent, stubborn sort of guy, 10th grade rolled around, and I went out for football again. And interestingly, we had the same coach that transferred from junior high to senior high in the same year I did. And so I could take you to the place on the Winter Park High School practice field when I was feeling as tired and discouraged and defeated as I had been going out for football in 9th grade, and was about ready to give up. And I just said, no, not this time. I'm making this team no matter what. And I did. And then not long after I made the team, I got hurt, tore up my knee. Doctor told me I didn't need surgery, but I should sit out the season. I had other ideas and was back in 2 weeks for the first game. And one of the interesting things that happened was one of the coaches pulled me aside one day in practice and said, how do you know where a play is going? You seem to always be where the play is and where the ball is. How do you know? I said, Coach, I spent all last year charting plays and knowing what's coming. And so by the time the offense lines up, I got a pretty good idea what's coming. Okay? So you don't always make it the first time you try. When you stick with it, you do. That's why I believe no one ever fails online. Some people just give up before the magic happens. And my encouragement is don't give up before the magic happens. Okay? So we could call that our webinar wisdom for the webinar. But I'll give you a little bit more. And this is my definition of a list community. It's not just a list of emails that you bomb and pound all the time. It's a community of people with live hearts and live heads that you're called to lead. So let's talk about the profitable list building mindset. This is huge, folks. List building is not a once in a while activity. It's a daily activity. It's one of my daily revenue generating rituals. Okay. ABL, write this down. ABLB stands for always be list building. Always. I wind up building my list in restaurants. Okay. Because I'm one of those strange people that likes to talk to waiters and waitresses. And when they ask me what I do and they get fascinated by it, they say, well, I'd like to learn how to do that. I say, well, here's a place where you can join my list and, come to a webinar. And so you can be building your list all over the place, folks. Many of those people have purchased products from me and resources. Some of you may even be here. Profitable list building blunders. Here's some things that you may have done. But what if no one joins my list? That has to be said with a whine. Two things. One, they will. Some will. Some won't. That's okay. If no one is joining your list, we need to take a look at what you're offering them and how you're offering it. Something's going on there. Okay. Number two, again, thinking of it as an event, as something that happens once, and then you're set for life. Now, have I had occasion to add hundreds of people to my list community at one time? Sure. When other people host my webinars, when I go to an event and I speak, and a lot of people will join. Even when I'm not speaking, a lot of people will join. So there's a lot of times when it's built by large numbers, but that's not just one event. I like that, Kim. Some will, some won't. So what? Exactly. List building is not an event, folks. It's a lifelong, career-long process. I will always be list building and was doing it really before I even knew what it was called, back when I was writing that column for the newspaper. And then when it went national and international, when newspapers went online, after Al Gore invented the internet, people would write me or email me commenting on a column. And I'd write them back or email them back and ask them, can I put you on my mailing list? Because I had like these little teeny daily newsletters. And I would put together, this is hilarious, I would put together booklets with this software that made actual booklets. And I would sell them for $5 and offer them in those emails to people. Kept my list on CompuServe, AOL Lite way back then. And they would send me $5 and a check or $5 bill, and I'd send them the booklet. We're talking like 96, 97. So, been doing this a long time. It's a lifelong, career-long process. I want you to have that mindset. And here's what I see a lot of people do. And even though I train my students to be prepared for this, I still get a lot of crying over unsubscribes. And it makes me think of that scene in A League of Their Own about the women baseball team that Tom Hanks was the manager of, and he was yelling at that one woman, "There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying on the internet." Yeah, well, I've cried a few tears over it. My goodness, it's frustrating sometimes. I tell people sometimes, don't go to therapy, just start an internet business. Best dang therapy you could have. Okay? Here's the thing about unsubscribes. Thank them and move on. Big 4-letter word. Next. Okay? If they don't fit with you, if you are not a good fit, it's better for them to go away. It's okay. Wish them well and concentrate on the people that are with you. Okay? We're going to play with that in just a minute. I want to demonstrate something to you. Okay, so 3 mistakes in what to do instead. Let's talk about the power of profitable list building. Okay? As your list grows, your confidence grows. As your list grows, your confidence grows. Now, what I'm about to say is not even remotely typical results. I'm not saying you can achieve the same thing. You might do less, you might do more. But when I first started full-time in 2007, when I went from 0 to 20K a month in 3 months, I did it with a list of only 1,800 people. Now, it's a whole lot bigger than that now. But as it grows, your confidence grows. And when you treat your list community well, they will, when you take great care of your list community, they'll take great care of you. That's my quote. And they become very responsive to your offers. They really, really do. How many of you are familiar with John Lennon's great quote about, I'm going to sit down and write me a swimming pool? And what he meant by that was he was going to write a new song and put in a pool. Anybody familiar with that quote from John Lennon? Yeah, there you go. Okay. When you have a list community, no, Dean, the money is not in the list. Dean just said the money's in the list. No, it's not, Dean. The money is in the relationship, your relationship with your list community, because it's the relationship people are responding to. And where I want all of y'all to get is to where you go, okay, I want to go on this trip, or I need this amount of money for X. And you put together something and you make an offer and people respond, okay? Even from those of you that have been discouraged before, okay? Keep going at it. It's where I want you to get to. Now, let's talk about the benefit of long-term subscribers, okay? Now, we've got a whole lot of people on this webinar, and I want to demonstrate something to you. If you've been with me for less than a year, just type in the Q&A, that's me. Less than a year. Bill and Terry, Rhonda, Joyce, Laura, Michelle, Rahiv. Sure hope I'm pronouncing that right. Okay, thanks, guys. 2 years, around 2 years. How many people around 2 years? 2 years or less? Okay, Carol, 2 years. How many 5 years? How many 5 years out there? Wendy saying about 2 years. Carol, about 2. James, yeah, 5 years. Kathy, Susan. Okay, how many from the beginning? Since 2007. I was on your first webinar, Jeff. Yeah, okay. What that's showing you, folks, the reason I do that is not to impress you. I just want to impress upon you the power of doing this right and taking great care of a list community. There are people in my list community that buy everything I come up with, everything I offer, and not just the stuff I offer. They get the stuff when I have somebody else on because they know, because I've told them, I've told you this, 90% of the stuff that comes across my desk or across my email of people wanting me to promote them, I turn down, okay? Because I'm only going to bring you the very, very, very best. And I think you saw that just recently with Murgatroyd's stuff and the storytelling. Kim says, we know that we can trust what you share with us. Yeah, absolutely. That's not by accident. That's intentional, okay? So huge benefit, folks, in long-term subscribers. Whoops. So webinar wisdom, the story about failing and then succeeding, profitable list building mindset, profitable list building blunders and what to do instead, the power of profitable list building. Now, what we're going to do is do our Results Now mini workshop. It's going to be a demo. I'm going to walk you through the 5 simple steps and talk about each one a little bit. Now, each one of those is going to be its own module in the course. And then I'm going to show you a tool that's very, very powerful. And some of you are on this webinar wondering, wonder if I should take that course or not. I don't know, et cetera, et cetera. This tool will answer that for you, okay? And make it as clear as day whether you should or shouldn't, okay? And it's a tool that you can use forever and ever and ever, all right? So let's play with those top 5 things, those 5 simple steps, or simples. I forgot to change it here. I was recording a video to put in the members area in the Get Started Here module, and was recording it on the slide without them being on like this, and changed it. Well, I can't change this. So that typo was purposely put there for you to notice and keep you alert. And if you noticed it and you found yourself getting more alert, it did its important job. Step 1 is not an opt-in page. Step 1 is not all that stuff, okay? The opt-in page is the middle. There's 2 really important things that need to happen before the opt-in page, and 2 really important things that need to happen after the opt-in page. Most people won't tell you that. And that's why I break it down like I do. Step 1 is content that converts. How do you get people's attention to join your list community in the first place? What if I told you that there was a way to craft content? And I'm talking about everything from a tweet all the way to an article, blog post, or video in such a way that you give the reader, the listener, the viewer this experience. Even people that have never heard of you before, but they've come across your stuff. This is their experience. They begin to consume your content. They see how you approach their problems, and they see how you solve their problems. And they begin to think this. They may not be able to articulate it in the way I am, but it's what's going on. They begin to think, wow, this is pretty good stuff. And then they think 2 more very, very, very important, crucial things. The first thing they begin to think is, you know what, I'd like some more of this. I wonder how I could get more of this. And underneath that, they're beginning to think, wow, if this is what I get from this person for free, imagine how good the stuff must be that you pay for. So you're doing 2 things right there when you craft content that way. And then one extra thing that Dean just suggested, which is true, I'll add that in a minute. One thing you're doing is you're beginning to get them wanting more from you. And you're also planting the seeds early on with people that have never heard from you before, for them to invest with you financially, okay? If I told you there was a way to create content that way, and a way, as Dean says, to create content that enters the conversation already going on inside the mind of your prospect, would you be interested in that topic? Yes or no? Yay or nay in the Q&A. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, that's what this is all about. And I will give you one piece of that here on step 1. Okay, now there are people that will rend their garments over about what I'm about to tell you. Okay, you always, always, always deliver at least one actionable gold nugget of information, something they can do. But Jeff, why are you giving that away? Because, folks, when you've gone an inch wide and a mile deep into your niche, you find and create so much good stuff that you can give away really good stuff. I give away really good webinars because you know there's so much more behind it. Okay? So don't worry about giving away one good golden nugget of information. That's what pulls people in. So that's the content that converts. We're going to go so deep into that we're going to spend an entire module on it. and give you some time afterwards for the heavy lifting. Step 2 comes at the end of the content that converts, whether, again, that's a tweet or an article or a video or a teleseminar or whatever, what I call to action magnets. A call to action is simply saying, here's what I want you to do next. I call them call to action magnets because when you do it the way I teach, it really is magnetic. It pulls people in. And it's not the, get this by tomorrow because we're taking it down and it'll all close and you won't be able to get it and your family's going to die. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not a whole lot, right? You do it with invitational language, inviting them in conversational language to take the next success step. Every one of my bullets, let me go back up here, show you what I mean. I walk what I talk. Your next success steps. How to run with this and profit, okay? That's another way of saying, here's an offer for you, folks, your next success steps. It's invitational language. It's not beating people over the head at all, okay? So you got content that converts, at the end of it, a call to action magnet, something that's compelling and invitational. Step 3, they're moving to your magnetic opt-in page. Now, I look at opt-in pages every single day. Was reviewing one for a high-level student today who really hit it out of the park, except there was 2 choices on that page and you only need 1. So we corrected that, okay? But again, you're inviting them and you're giving them, so you got to answer the question, why should I opt in? Why should I tolerate another email in my inbox? The language that you use, the clarity with which you let them know what they're getting makes all the difference, okay? Now in the course, I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step formula for identifying exactly what you should offer people. And when you follow the 3 steps involved, it's going to be a literal bestseller, even though it's a giveaway. Okay, it's going to be your strongest giveaway. Do you know that I am still writing for 7 years now? I'm still writing one simple, powerful offer on an opt-in page of a giveaway. And just for demonstration purposes, how many people are on this webinar because the first way we became connected is you got my 3 mistakes content creation template? If that's you, just say that's me in the Q&A. And the screen starts to move. Dean, that's me. Michelle, Rahiv, Connie, Jim. See? And the screen is continuing to scroll. Bill and David. Okay? That works. Okay? That brings people in. And every single one of those people I just read out is a customer, I think. So there you go. Okay? So step 1, content that converts. Step 2, your call to action magnets. Step 3, a magnetic opt-in page. Now, let's pull up here, do a little stretch, get yourself kind of relaxed in your chair here. We're a half hour into this show. And I want to point out something to you, because I've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen a lot. And boy, one day we'll just do a webinar about stories. For our purposes here, what I want to tell you is most of the people, if not all of the people, that teach you list building stop at these 3 steps. And the rest of it is hammer the hell out of that list, suck up all the money you can from it until you burn it out, and then go get another one. Folks, I'm not making that up. I have had that said to me by lots of people. You know the ones, right? You're on those lists, or you are for a while. Every day you get the latest, greatest, best offer, right? And then tomorrow there's another greatest, latest, best offer. And eventually you start to wonder, well, if today is the greatest offer and the best thing ever, what about the one you told me yesterday was the best one? Okay. That's not the way to do this in a way that's going to give you a long-term business that can sustain you over time and can sustain you when you do curious things. I have an experiment I'm going to run this summer. Okay. I am taking most, if not all, of July off. And I want to spend most of it on the trails, in the mountains, with my dogs and kids. Not in that order. And I'm going to set up something I've always wanted to do. I'm going to set up a lot of automated emails before I go, some automated webinars, both with me and with guests. And I'm going to run it like that. Okay? Oh, no withdrawals, Dean says. You'll be okay because I want to give you plenty to do, Dean, in between. And I'll be checking in probably halfway through. But you can do that when you build a business for a lifetime, for the long term. You can't do that when you're pounding people every day. But when you're building a relationship-based business, which is what you have to have with your list community, you can do that kind of stuff. Now, a few people I've talked to that have done this told me an interesting thing. That was one of the best months financially they ever had. It was like they got out of their own way. So I'll report in August on that experiment in July. My whole entire point of telling you all this is step 4 and step 5 is where the long-term money comes from, okay? Step 4 is what I call follow-up strategies. Write this down. Write this down. Get ready. I'll give you a moment to grab a pen or get your computer ready. Write this down. Both your fortune and your future are in the follow-up. Both your fortune and your future are in the follow-up. And there are so many ways to follow up with people. It's ridiculous not to do it. Simply ridiculous. You can automate follow-up with autoresponders, where you don't even have to touch it. You can send broadcast emails that are done right then. You can do all kinds of things. I've been speaking for NAMS since the first one in 2009. I'm a lifetime faculty member. The other day, I got a box in the mail. And it said send out cards on the outside, which is a way of following up. And I thought it was somebody hitting me up to join send out cards. So that box sat somewhere in the kitchen for a couple of days. Finally, I opened it. And it was a card with 2 brownies in the box from David Perdue, the head of NAMS. He was one of my closest friends. And, he didn't have to do that. I do NAMS because I love it and because of all that I get out of it. That was a nice touch. That's nice follow-up, okay? The follow-up that you do that's not expected is huge. And Module 4 is going to be full of creative, unique, and different follow-up strategies because your fortune and your future are in the follow-up. And then step number 5, what I call taking great care, or TGC, taking great care of your community. I'll give you 2 ways to do that right now. Okay, you ready? The first way is to answer their questions. When they have questions, answer them. You can even do events, webinars and teleseminars that are all, you're just answering questions. Back when I first started in 07, and I was doing regular teleseminars, close to weekly, every time somebody signed up, they were also able to ask their biggest question about that particular topic. And so that helped me design the teleseminars. I try to get as many of those questions answered in the, just the normal delivery and then the Q&A after, or I would gather them for another one. But let me tell you the power of this list care strategy. And I kept this. I took a screenshot of this because it blew me away. This is what somebody said in that little optional box back when I was doing teleseminars. When it said, what's your biggest question about whatever the topic was that week? She said, and I quote, "I don't have a question today. You seem to answer mine before I even ask them." Listen to that last part again. You seem to answer mine before I even ask them. Now, do you think that's somebody that trusts me? That believes what I'm telling them? Yeah. But how did I know how to do that? Because I would ask them, what's your biggest question? And then I would answer them. So the 2 tips there for taking great care of your community is ask them questions and answer their questions. You can ask it by just doing a simple survey. I just got, right before I went live here, I got an email from one of my colleagues. It was doing a 2-question survey with SurveyMonkey, totally free. Okay. Now, here's one of the biggest take great care of your community strategies that really, really blows people away. Making offers to your community is a way to take great care of them. Why? Because they are following you. They are in your list community because they want to take the next success steps. And when you have them, it's just a naturally occurring phenomenon to make those offers. In fact, if you have the next success steps for folks and you don't offer it to people, you're doing them a disservice and you're doing yourself a disservice. You've got the answers they need. Offer it to them. That's called the business, okay? And that's also called taking great care of people. So those are the 5 steps. It's simple and it's powerful. And maybe, perhaps most importantly, it's repeatable. Content that converts, at the end of it, a call to action magnet, heading into a magnetic opt-in page. And once they're in your list community, follow-up strategies and taking great care of that list community. Why in the world do you think people tolerate as much email as I send? Because I take good care of you guys. All right, now, I want to show you a tool. And really, this is the same, in one way, this is the same thing I just showed you, just in a different deliverable or a different way of delivering it, okay? However, this is very, very powerful. Let's just go around the circle here, starting at the upper right-hand corner. Content that converts, call to action magnets, magnetic opt-in page, follow-up strategies, and take great care of your list community. Now, this is displayed in this way to use as a tool. I want you to use it now, and it'll make it very, very clear whether you need to come on board in a couple of minutes or not. And I want you to use this for always. I pull this out about once a month to see where I am and rank myself on each of these slices of pie, if you will. Okay, and here's how I do it. Let me get my bigger marker out here so it'll be a little bit clearer. I'll get my spotlight. Isn't that cool? All right, over here, content that converts. The way you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least and 10 being the best, here's a 1. down here towards the middle, down here towards the point. A 10's out here on the edge. Okay? So, on creating content that converts people into your list community, where do you stand? Are you a 1, 2, 5, 7, 10? Just write down content that converts and a number next to it. For call to action magnets, are you here at the very beginning, or are you doing pretty good at it? What about creating a magnetic opt-in page? Are you way over here maybe? You feel kind of clueless and lost? Or are you doing pretty good? Or you got that one down maybe? Connie says, I've got a lot of content, but it doesn't seem to be converting. Connie, I can't wait to show you how. Michelle says 0 for all. Well, you know what course you need to be in. At least you're consistent. Okay, and we'll talk about the power of that. Follow-up strategies, following up with your community. Down here, up here, somewhere in between, and then taking great care of your community. Where are you? This is a great thing to do. I do about once a month. And what it does is it shows you where you're strong and shows you where you need help. After you've been doing this for a while, it shows you where you're doing okay, and it shows you where you may be dipping for a little bit, and you got to make a difference. Now, in the course, I take it into step 2 and give you steps to get from a 1 to a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? But just imagine, let's say that you're a 2 here, and a 4 here, and a 1 here, and a 10 here, and a 5 here. Okay? Now imagine that wheel. It goes like this, and driving on 4 of those. Wouldn't be a good outcome, would it? Okay? Now, if you're low in any of these, you'll benefit from the course. If you're low in all of them, or a majority of them, really 2 or more, you need to find a way to be part of the course. Because what we're going to do is focus on each of these and show you exactly how to move up in content that converts, call to action magnets, a magnetic opt-in page, follow-up strategies, and taking great care of your list community. Now, let me return my little sing along with Mitch red dot. Boy, did I just date myself. And let's look at more closely at these modules. Okay, content that converts, module 1. Okay, here's what you're going to get. Some of you already have my content creation templates. These are list building content templates. Templates for what to say to enter into the conversation already going on in their minds and lead them where you want to go, where you want them to go. Anybody out there familiar with this commercial that's out right now? I think this is brilliant marketing by Taco Bell, which I sometimes call Taco Hell. They now have a breakfast menu, and their goal is to compete with McDonald's. Okay? And what they have are about 5 or 6 gentlemen eating, yeah, exactly, Dean, eating this new taco thing. Okay? And what Taco Bell did is went around the nation and found men named Ronald McDonald. Hi, I'm Ronald McDonald from Vero Beach, Florida, and I'm eating this Taco Bell thing. They never mentioned McDonald's. They never mentioned the competition, but they entered into the conversation going on in people's minds very brilliantly. I mean, it's an excellent marketing commercial. Okay? We're going to take those things and break them down into templates so you can do that over and over. What to say and when to say it. And part of that template is going to be 7 small hinges that swing huge doors. I mentioned one of them today. Give it a good gold nugget of usable information. Okay, so that's module 1. Module 2, call to action magnets. Whoops. All right. That's the invitation. The 5 rules of profitable CTAs. A call to action for it to work has to answer 5 very, very important questions. Or you're going to leave prospects some money on the table. I'm going to show you how to do that in video calls to action, social media calls to action, and I'm going to help you create your irresistible call to action offer. Well, Jeff, what do I offer somebody that they're going to take? I have 3 steps and 3 criteria to help you pick that out that will help you pick out a winner. Now, when I created my templates and the giveaway template way back in 2005, I stumbled into this formula. I didn't create it in advance. I wish I could say I was smart enough to have done that. I did this in reverse engineering because this thing took off and it's been, feeding my family and I well for 7 years. And so what I did is I did reverse engineering. What is it about this? And I came up with those 3 particular factors that you can use as well. So that's module 2. Module 3, magnetic opt-in pages. Now, you guys have experienced my opt-in pages, whether that's getting the 3 mistakes or when you come to a webinar. A webinar page is an opt-in page. Okay? There's 7 particular things I do on every opt-in page that pulls in the people. For example, okay? And this blew even me away, okay? In our industry, the average percentage of people that come to a webinar opt-in page that actually sign up is around 40 to 50%. Using lead pages, I usually average between 60 and 70. Using lead pages, I've been able to do between 70 and 80. Okay? With one simple tweak that I tried this week, and I am totally blown away by this. And I'm going to go back and make sure that this is correct. I'm so blown away from it. 91% of the people that went to this webinar opt-in page signed up. 91%. That's unheard of. That's ridiculously good. And I'm going to show you how to do it. And I'm going to show you the hard way and the easy way. You don't got to do this the hard way, folks. And I'm going to show you how to do it without a website. Yeah, really. Without a website. Kim's saying congrats. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm still a little stunned, Kim. Thanks. All right, module 4, follow-up fortunes. Remember, what most people don't teach. My favorite follow-up strategies, how to follow up and when to follow up. That's super crucial, how and when. And like I had you write down, your fortune and your future are in the follow-up. That's from a cool little graphic that Laura West does at NAM's workshops when I speak. And module 5, take great care, what I call shepherding. Not that your list is made up of sheep. Your job is to take great care of them, though. When you take great care of your list community takes great care of you. Take great care strategies. Now, here's the link up here, folks. It's been up here the whole time. You can go there and get in right now if you want to. And we're going to talk about how making offers for their next success steps is taking optimum care of your list community. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a way that's very elegant, full of integrity. I've had many of you tell me, Jeff, I was entering my credit card number before I realized you made an offer. That's on purpose, folks. Now, that wasn't enough. Look at the bonuses you get. Conversation with me. We're going to get on the phone, do a GoToWebinar, looking at your opt-in page. We're going to review it and make it better and more, your whole system. Okay? Heck, that's worth the whole investment. It's worth 10 times the whole investment. All right, that's bonus number 1. Bonus number 2, LinkedIn list building. Now, I love it. I absolutely love it when I come across something that I knew hardly anything about or I was doing wrong.